All right, guys, for page 154, you needed to mark your subject, your verb, your indirect object, and your direct object. We've already done that in the previous video, so if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. Make sure you've marked everything correctly in your sentences. What I did on the board, I didn't put all 15 diagrams on the board. I put the ones that I felt you might struggle with a little. So we're gonna go through them just to make sure you got them correctly, okay? So our first one is our basic diagram for most of the problems, okay? So on the first line, we have our subject, our action verb, and our direct object. Remember, the line between the subject and the verb goes all the way across. It's a vertical line that intersects the horizontal line, so that cuts all the way through. But the line that separates the action verb from the direct object is a vertical line that meets the horizontal line but does not cross, okay? So make sure your diagrams have this vertical line. Make sure it doesn't cross. I mean, if a little bit crosses over, then it's completely wrong. No, I'm just kidding. But try not to let it cross, okay? Keep it consistent. Okay, so subject, action verb, direct object, and then our indirect object gets diagrammed underneath the action verb, okay? So this is your basic setup. So go through your sentences. Make sure you don't put your direct object underneath the action verb. The direct object gets diagrammed in the same line as the subject and the verb, okay? So make sure you follow that format, okay? For number 3, we've got a compound indirect object, but several things remain the same. So our subject is the first item. Our second item is the action verb, and our third item is the direct object. Again, making sure we have the correct lines in each position. But now we have a compound indirect object. So we go ahead and draw our line, and we set up our little compound lines, or our little rocket ship. This is a lopsided rocket ship. Anyway, here we have the compound indirect object bend and loop. Make sure to write your dashed line and make sure that you put your conjunction in between or inside the triangle that you made. Okay, so this is how you should have diagrammed problem number 3. Problem number 4 is a compound sentence. For those, if you don't remember how to diagram a compound sentence, here it is. We have the subject Aiden, action verb through, direct object frisbee. Okay, line goes all the way across, line meets the horizontal line right there, it doesn't intersect. Then we have our staircase. Remember, when we're joining compound sentences are joined at the verb, okay? So make sure that your staircase goes from verb to verb, okay? Wouldn't go to the subject, it goes straight into the verb, okay? So our second subject, she, second action verb through, second direct object, it, and it's joined by the conjunction and. Next we have a sentence number 9 with a compound subject, okay? So our first line becomes the rocket ship, and so we set that up, mom or dad. The conjunction connecting these is or. And then you see here I've got my line, and my line that separates the subject goes all the way across, okay? That doesn't change. The line that separates the subject or the subjects from the verb is still a line that intersects the horizontal line. Then we have our action verb, read or reads, should be reads. Reads what? Reads story. Story is a direct object separated by a vertical line that does not intersect. We also have a compound indirect object here. Remember, the indirect object is going to be diagrammed underneath the verb. So we draw our line and we set up our compound diagrams, or our rocket ship, Ava, conjunction, me. Alright, so number 9 should be diagrammed like that. Next, number 10. Sorry, it's kind of overlapping, but first we've got our subject man, our action verb brought, but here we have a compound direct object, okay? So the direct object is going to be in the same line as the subject and the verb again. All that changes is that our rocket ship is set up on the same line, okay? So I've got my line separating my direct objects from my action verb, and I've set it up in 2 branches. So first, perfume, joined by and the second part, flowers, okay? So you see how this all is still in the same line, the direct object is all in the same line. Make sure that that is how you diagram your direct objects. And now your indirect object is placed underneath the verb, okay? Last 2. We've got a compound verb, okay? This is fun. Imagine if it had a compound verb, a compound subject, a compound direct object, and a compound indirect object. That'd be a crazy looking diagram. We should do one just for fun. Actually, that wouldn't be fun, so let's not do it. Anyway, so we've got Jackson is the subject, okay? So we're gonna separate the action verbs from the subject with a straight line like this. Now it's gonna branch off into two branches like this. All right, so if you can see, if you pay attention, you still see the continuity of the line. So you have this, you've got your action verb, and you've got your vertical line dividing your direct object, okay? So that's part of the same line, and then part of this same line goes here. You've got your action verb and your direct object, okay? So this all forms this branch of the diagram split up in a compound verb, joined by the conjunction and, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's right, and, okay? So, subject, action verb, direct object, subject, action verb, direct object, okay? Now, in the second part of this sentence, there is an indirect object, okay? This is problem number 11, okay? The indirect object would get attached to the second action verb. So friends would not go here, friends would go here. Gives what? Gives duplicates to what? To friends, okay? So that is how you would diagram that part of the sentence. We've got another compound compound verb. So again, subject father. So we split our line because we're gonna go into the verb. The verb branches off into two sections. So our first action verb is consoled, and consoled what or who? Boy. And then the second part, bought what? Soda. For who? For him. Okay? And the him is diagrammed underneath the second action verb. All right, guys? I hope this helps. Again, if you have any questions at all, put a comment on the video or shoot me a text, give me a call, and I'd be happy to help you out. And that's it. All right, guys. Thank you.